Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pula and here's what we have in the bulletin. Consumer confidence is up. Severe drought grips St. Ann communities. And later in sports, Cricket West Indies responds to embarrassing third test defeat to Australia. Now the details. Consumer confidence is up. That's according to the latest business and consumer confidence indices for the current quarter. Head of Market Research Services Limited, Don Anderson, provided the details at a forum this morning. He revealed that consumer confidence grew by 1.4% between the first quarter of 2025 to the present.
We are virtually at the peak of consumer confidence in all of the 24 years that we've been doing this study, as you can see from 2001. And just in case for persons who are seeing this chart for the first time, I don't think there are too many persons who are seeing this for the first time, you notice that there are three huge peaks going across this chart from 2001 all the way to 2025. There's a consistent factor here, and that consistent factor is that those are election years. And it is probably opportune and appropriate that I should say that what that meant, those peaks that you're seeing, represent election promises made and election promises unfulfilled.
According to Mr. Anderson, 625 persons in their households. He further pointed to the factors which contributed to the growth.
Consumers feel that current business is better than it was in quarter one. Current business environment is better. And that is evidenced by the fact that the consumer confidence at this level was 2 percentage points more than it was in quarter one. So they feel that current business conditions are better, marginally so, than it was in quarter one. There's also a slight increase in expectations that business will continue to get better. So not only do we have a slight increase in what they saw, but they believe that it will continue on this path, however marginally so. What's interesting is that consumers are also beginning to believe that more jobs will become available.
Come September, students in St. Thomas will be able to commute with the rollout of the rural school buses. On Monday, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon toured Western and Eastern St. Thomas during a test run of the buses ahead of the new school term.
What we're doing is we're taking the buses on the actual routes that they would be driving and testing them, seeing that the bus is small enough, could it do with a bigger one or not. And so it's been really good so far. We started very early this morning and we're driving in many of the rural parts of St. Thomas.
The residents, as well as some taxi operators, say they're happy.
As far as I can see, it is very excellent. Yeah. And to what I see, bus them all right. Yeah, and I feel so proud about the government doing this. For a long time, the kids them are suffer on the road. So this will make a big, big difference.
Propaganda that the taxi men and those that are in the public service transportation system has a problem with the rural bus system. They don't. Here are two of them. They've been carrying children for years and they're excited and happy. I tell them how happy you are for this.
My father, top father, and listen me, a morning time, the chaos where they hear so. A morning time with school children, so see the amount of children them nah get enough bus to take them to school. The first lesson done most morning. It's one of the best things this could have ever happened.
A severe drought is gripping several communities across St. Ann, causing widespread concern. The worsening situation is linked to limited access to water supplies. Residents are finding it increasingly difficult to cope with water becoming more expensive. Families already under financial strain are being forced to purchase water to meet daily needs. The shortage is not just inconvenient, it's becoming a serious public health issue. Household chores and farming activities have been heavily disrupted in affected areas.
Particularly those with unreliable or inconsistent supplies. And we know of some of those in this parish, and others which depend heavily on rainwater catchment systems. We also would like to highlight the importance of water storage as a standard practice for households, for institutions, and for businesses.
Local businesses are also feeling the impact, prompting warnings from authorities. Officials are urging business owners to invest in water shortage solutions immediately.
We are forced to take action in some instances to close business operations that handles or prepares food when there is no water as a result of disruption of the regular water system. So we are advising, suggesting that all personnel involved in food service operations to ensure that they are upholding rigorous sanitary standards.
These measures are seen as critical to minimizing disruption and maintaining operations. With no relief in sight, everyone is being advised to conserve water and prepare for a prolonged dry spell.
To ensure that there is an emergency supply of water, not only for disasters, but for cases where you have disruption to the regular supply. To ensure that you will have consistent service quality and minimize potential disruptions.
Concerns have been raised in Westmoreland about motorbikes that were confiscated by the police but not returned to their owners. The issue was brought up at the latest Westmoreland Municipal Corporation meeting. DSP Kevin Francis, the officer in charge of operations, stated that many individuals are riding unlicensed motorbikes and not following road codes.
If these motorcycles are not properly licensed, if they are not fit to be on the road or they have insurance, the police have a right to seize them. So let me put that clear first, that the police do not just arbitrarily seize motorcycles for seizing them. We have a surplus of motorcycles in the parish of Westmoreland. And we have found that most persons who ride these or drive these motorcycles, either they are not licensed to do so, or the vehicles themselves are not.
DSP Francis says these riders are frequently warned about possible prosecution. He also outlined the steps owners must take to reclaim their motorbikes.
Treating with this particular item. So if this water bottle was seized by the police, we will state that it is a water bottle with a white top, giving a proper description. It's a 12-ounce water bottle, it is labeled Catherine's Bay, and we will give a full description of the item. These items are then stored in a secure location, and when they are released, an entry is made in the general property book, as also an entry made in the station diary to the effect.
The Area 1 police say dealing with predial larceny in St. James is a difficult task, but the police say they are committed to the task. Speaking at the recent sitting of the St. James Municipal Corporation, it was revealed that there has been a noticeable increase in cattle theft in Trelawney, destined for Montego Bay.
Three men traveling in a white Axio heading into St. James. It was on the news, heading to St. James, and with a goat. We realize that it has been it's a ring, because we have several reports of this white Axio, stealing goats in the Trelawney area, other areas too. So, and all three men were of St. James address.
The division has launched a campaign aimed at sensitizing farmers.
Whether farmers have cattle or agricultural produce as to our mandate and role, because we realize that there has not been a lot of compliance as it concerns to some of the rules that a person are transporting animals without being tagged. that a person are transporting agricultural produce without a JS receipt. Because we have had 2 arrests for persons transporting animals, cattle without tags, and we have had 6 arrests for persons transporting agricultural produce without arrest. So we're actually trying to send a message, whilst in the same vein, we're actually educating persons.
The St. Anne Public Health Department is advising persons in the parish to seek medical attention once they're feeling sick. The health department says it has recorded at least 3 cases of the COVID-19 virus since the start of the year.
And we're advising individuals to promptly seek medical care if they experience symptoms of respiratory illness, as this facilitates appropriate treatment and enables testing to exclude serious infections. Although we currently do not have any case of COVID-19, recent test results have yielded 3 positives, and that represents 50% of diagnosed positive year to date.
As it relates to dengue,
while there has been no confirmed case of dengue fever since the start of 2025, it is advised that residents remain vigilant and prevent mosquito breeding on their premises by executing a minimum weekly search and destroy activities. Since the start of the year, we have had cases representing what is considered to be normal levels of dengue, suspected cases. And in June, we had 7 cases.
Welcome back to the Midday News. At least one expert in education is calling for a localized approach to school improvement. The call comes amid the Ministry of Education's Region 6 retreat underway in Trelawney. Sandy Williams reports.
Dr. Thompson, a lecturer in education policy, emphasized the importance of contextualizing policy for it to be effective on the ground. Drawing on a study conducted in London, Dr. Thompson shared insights into how a struggling school managed to stay afloat.
But what struck me, which I haven't read, and a resilient approach to external government policies and pressure.
He argued that while education policy is often developed with board applicability in mind, successful implementation requires adaptation to local conditions.
Policy making by nature is global in its application, but for its effective implementation, policy application must be nuanced to the peculiarities of a situation.
Dr. Thompson cautioned that education directives are sometimes made without a complete understanding of the local landscape.
There are times when the center does not take full account of all the factors that should inform the instructions and the policies that are developed. There are times when the local reality requires further exploration in order to determine the appropriateness of the policy prescription for the entire nation.
Dr. Thompson's remark come at a time when the Ministry of Education is pushing for more robust school improvement plans across the island. In Region 6, the Regional Director, Sophia Forbes Hall, recently noted an increase in the number of school improvement submissions. However, she also pointed out a shortfall in implementation at the school level. With the 2025-26 academic school year fast approaching, educators are being urged to align their school improvement efforts with the ministry's strategic priorities, including numeracy and literacy, school leadership, and safe learning environment. Reporting from the Ocean Coral Spring Hotel in Trelawney, I'm Sandy Williams for TVJ News.
Thank you, Sandy. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The government says it will allocate $14.3 million from the $385 million it expects to raise from the sale of revenue rights from the Sangster International Airport to cover 6 months of interest payments through the Debt Service Reserve account. Other allocations will support clean water infrastructure projects, small business development, and general government operations. Now, this follows a similar move last fiscal year, where the government used $11.4 billion from the $75 billion raised through the sale of revenue rights from the Norman Manley International Airport to finance the reverse income credit scheme, and another $45 billion to fund the Spark program. Further afield, the Port of Los Angeles saw record-breaking cargo volume in June, up 32% from May. Importers were racing to get goods in before the July 9th tariff pause expired. Now, with a new deadline of August 1st, businesses are scrambling once again. US President Donald Trump's latest tariff plan includes steep hikes on goods from the EU, Canada, China, and more. That's pushing retailers to stock up early, especially ahead of the holiday season. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
And time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Jamaica has announced plans for a limited gun amnesty, the establishment of a special unit to deal with firearm offenses, as well as the payment to people providing information resulting in the recovery of illegal firearms. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt made the announcement after several people were killed and others wounded, including a member of the Logos Hope bookship who was shot last week as he walked in the capital. Mrs. Skerritt says recently Jamaica has witnessed troubling acts of gun violence.
Thank you, Carrie, and we take another break. Sports is next.